You won't believe the storm that just erupted in the Harris household. Rap legend T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, is now facing one of the most shocking scandals of his entire career. But this time, it's not about him. It's about his son, and the internet can't stop buzzing. Late last night, a video allegedly surfaced online, sparking whispers, rumors, and explosive accusations that could turn T.I.'s family image upside down. Fans are shocked, the media is in a frenzy, and emotions are running dangerously high. Imagine this: one of hip-hop's most respected fathers waking up to a firestorm of headlines, linking his son to a supposed scandalous tape, one that could redefine how the public sees the Harris dynasty forever. Is it real? Is it fake? Or could this be the work of someone trying to tear down a family built on fame, music, and influence? What we do know is this: T.I. has reacted, and his response is leaving everyone with more questions than answers. Stay tuned, because what started as whispers in the dark has now exploded into full-blown family drama. And you're about to hear every shocking detail. The scandal did not break quietly. It crashed through social media like a tidal wave, leaving fans scrambling to make sense of what they were seeing and hearing. Overnight, an alleged tape surfaced, supposedly featuring T's son in a compromising situation that no one ever expected to witness. The clip was blurry, the faces barely recognizable, yet the rumors spread like wildfire. Fans claimed to recognize his voice, his tattoos, even the way he moved and before sunrise. The entire internet was convinced the Harris family had a storm on their hands by morning every blog site, gossip page, and hip-hop forum was flooded with the same headlines. T's son caught in shocking video. Harris dynasty rocked by scandal. Is this the end of the family's clean image? Fans were shocked, critics were merciless, and the family itself was caught in the eye of the storm. What made things worse was the fact that T himself had not said a word yet. The silence only fueled speculation. Was he hiding? Was he in denial? Or was he preparing to unleash a statement so powerful that it would shut everyone up? Inside the Harris household, emotions ran high. The tension was so thick you could almost cut it with a knife. According to sources close to the family, T confronted his son directly, pacing the living room with fire in his eyes. "Tell me right now," he reportedly demanded, his voice low and heavy with anger. "Is this you? Is this what's out there?" His son, shaken and visibly stressed, could barely look him in the eye. "Dad, it's not what it looks like," he stammered. "People are lying. They're trying to ruin me, ruin us." The argument didn't stop there. T's wife, Tiny, tried to step in, her voice trembling with worry. "Tip, calm down. Let him explain. We don't even know if this tape is real. You can't just jump down his throat." But T wasn't having it. "My whole name, my whole family, is on the line right now. You understand that?" He snapped, slamming his hand on the coffee table so hard that everyone jumped. Fans online could practically feel the walls closing in on the family. Memes, reactions, and brutal comments swirled across every platform. Some fans defended the young man, saying he was being targeted by jealous haters who wanted to tarnish the Harris brand. Others were less forgiving, claiming the video was undeniable proof and that no amount of denial could erase it. From the internet, what made the situation even messier was the fact that several industry insiders began to weigh in. One producer who had worked with T in the past hinted that the family's perfect image had cracks that were finally starting to show. Another artist claimed that the young man had been wilding out for months, and it was only a matter of time before something like this happened. As if the internet frenzy wasn't enough, the story made its way to mainstream outlets. Morning talk shows, radio stations, and even late-night comedians jumped on the bandwagon. "The King of the South," one host joked, "might need to crown a new title, the King of Scandals." The audience erupted in laughter, but for the Harris family, it was no laughing matter. Behind closed doors, T was torn apart. The world saw him as strong, confident, and always in control. But in that moment, he was just a father desperate to protect his family's name. He paced the halls, muttering under his breath, while Tiny tried to hold the family together. She pulled her son aside, her voice gentle but firm. "Baby, you gotta be honest with us. If this is you, if this is real, we need to know now. Lying about it will only make things worse." But he shook his head vigorously. "Mom, I swear it's not me. Someone's setting me up. They want to see me fall." Still, the doubts lingered. The internet is ruthless, and once an idea takes root, it's almost impossible to kill. Clips of the alleged tape were analyzed frame by frame, with fans dissecting every detail. One fan tweeted, "Look at that tattoo on his arm. It's the exact same one he showed on Instagram last week." Another fired back, "Nah, y'all reaching? That could be anybody." People love to believe drama. The family's friends began to distance themselves, worried about being caught in the crossfire. One longtime associate of T's was spotted leaving the house late at night, refusing to answer reporters' questions. "I don't know nothing about that," he muttered, ducking into his car. But the damage was done. Rumors swirled that even T's inner circle no longer trusted the situation. Meanwhile, T finally broke his silence with a cryptic Instagram post. The picture showed a lion pacing in a cage with the caption, "They gon' test you, but remember, the truth don't bend." Fans went wild. Some saw it as a direct defense of his son, while others interpreted it as a warning shot to whoever leaked the tape. The comment section exploded with debates, dividing his supporters right down the middle. "Stand by your son, King," one fan wrote. "Family over everything." But another replied, "Nah, this ain't it. Protecting him if it's true just makes it worse." The Harris household was like a ticking time bomb. Arguments erupted daily, with T and Tiny clashing over how to handle the crisis. Tiny insisted on hiring a crisis management team, professionals who could spin the story and maybe even bury it altogether. But T refused. "We don't run from nothing," he shouted during one heated exchange. "We face it head on. That's how I was raised. That's how I raised my kids." But Tiny, frustrated and exhausted, shot back, "This isn't just about pride, Tip. This is about our family's future. Our kids didn't ask for this spotlight, and now they're suffering for it." The emotional toll was undeniable. The younger siblings overheard the arguments, confused and scared. School friends whispered behind their backs, and teachers gave them sympathetic looks. The entire family was under siege, and there seemed to be no escape. What no one expected, however, was the shocking twist that was about to emerge. Late one night, as the family huddled in the living room, an anonymous message was sent directly to T's phone. The message contained screenshots, threats, and a demand for money. The sender claimed to have more footage, longer, clearer, and even more incriminating. If T didn't pay up, the tapes would be released in full to the world. The family gasped in horror as T read the message aloud. Tiny covered her mouth, trembling, while his son's face went pale. "They're blackmailing us," T muttered, his voice low and dangerous. "This ain't about no scandal. This is about money, about power. Somebody out there wants to destroy us." The revelation changed everything. What started as a humiliating scandal had now escalated into something darker, something far more sinister. Fans thought they had seen the peak of the drama, but the story was only just beginning. The Harris family was about to be dragged even deeper into the fire. And no one could predict who would come out unscathed. The room fell into complete silence after T read the message. The glow of the phone screen lit up his face, making his expression look even darker, almost haunted. The family sat frozen, realizing this wasn't just about shame anymore. This was about control. Someone out there had their claws deep in the Harris household, and they were ready to squeeze. Tiny was the first to break the silence. Her voice cracked, almost like she was holding back tears. "Tip, what do we do now? If they really have more footage, the internet is gonna eat us alive. And if you refuse to pay, they're gonna destroy everything." T leaned back in his chair, rubbing his temples. "If I pay, they'll just come back for more. Blackmailers don't stop. You give them one drop of blood and they'll drain you dry." His son stood up, shaking with frustration. "Dad, I swear to you, it's not me. I don't know who's behind this, but I'm being set up. Somebody's trying to ruin my life. Maybe somebody I trusted." Tiny turned sharply. "Then who? Who would do this to you?" The question hung heavy in the air. No one had an answer. Word of the blackmail didn't stay inside the house for long. Somehow it leaked, and within hours, bloggers and gossip channels were reporting it as if it were confirmed fact. Anonymous sources claimed the Harris family was being extorted for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Fans were stunned, sending the story trending worldwide. "This is crazy," one fan tweeted. "First, the tape, now blackmail. The Harris family can't catch a break," another wrote. "If this is true, somebody out there really wants to destroy them." This feels bigger than just a scandal. Speculation grew darker. Some suggested rival rappers could be involved. Others whispered about old enemies from T's past. Suddenly, the story was no longer about a tape, it was about conspiracy, betrayal, and secrets inside the house. The fights got uglier. T and Tiny clashed almost daily, their voices echoing down the halls. "You keep trying to handle this like it's some street beef," Tiny snapped during one heated argument. "This is bigger than that. This is about reputation, about legacy. You don't get to gamble with all of our lives just because you want to play tough." T shot back, "Legacy. Reputation. Everything I built was off of never backing down. If I cave to these people, I ain't the man I say I am. I'll lose respect. From the world and from my kids." Their son listened, torn apart inside. His father's rage, his mother's fear, it all crashed down on him like a storm. Late at night, he texted his closest friends, desperate for advice. But instead of comfort, some of them ghosted him completely. Others sent short, cold replies, clearly distancing themselves. "Man, you gotta lay low," one friend wrote. "This whole thing is too messy. I can't be around it." The rejection stung. Not only was his reputation on the line, but now the people he thought would ride for him were abandoning ship. Meanwhile, fans kept the scandal alive online, dissecting every move the family made. When T was spotted leaving a lawyer's office, paparazzi swarmed him, shouting questions. "Are you paying the blackmailers? Is the tape real? How does your family feel about this?" T kept his head down, muttering only one phrase, "We'll handle it." But the family wasn't handling it. They were falling apart. The biggest blow came when a former associate of T's son went live on Instagram, claiming he had receipts proving the tape was real. "Y'all think this is fake?" The young man sneered to thousands of viewers. "Nah, I was there when it was recorded." Dude ain't no saint. He'd been wilding out, and now it's coming back to bite him. The live stream sent shockwaves across the internet. Fans flooded the comments with disbelief. "Oh my God, this is betrayal," one fan typed. Another wrote, "He just wants clout. Don't believe him." But the damage was done. The son was furious, pacing his room like a caged animal. "He's lying. He's lying. He's just mad we don't hang anymore," he shouted. "I never thought he'd stoop this low. I trusted him." Tiny tried to console him, but he pushed her away, tears welling in his eyes. "Mom, I can't take this. Everyone hates me. People I thought were friends are turning against me. And Dad, he doesn't even believe me." Downstairs, T overheard those words. For a moment, the hardened father melted, guilt rushing over him. He wanted to believe his son, but the world was screaming otherwise. He felt trapped between two realities: the father who wanted to protect his child, and the public figure who needed to defend his legacy. The stress boiled over one evening when the family gathered for dinner. Voices escalated, plates clattered, and finally, T slammed his fist against the table. "Enough. I don't care what anybody out there says. We're gonna fight this. But hear me right now. If I find out you've been lying to me, if I find out this tape is real, then you're on your own." His son's face crumpled in shock, his voice breaking. "You'd really turn your back on me like that?" "I'd turn my back on a liar," T growled. The room went silent again, the air heavy with betrayal. Tiny wiped her eyes, whispering, this family is falling apart. As the days went by, the blackmailer struck again. Another message, this time with a blurry screenshot attached. It showed a figure that looked eerily like T's son. The threat was clear. Pay up or watch your name get dragged through the mud, even worse this time. The family couldn't ignore it. T called a meeting with his lawyers, his publicist, and even some old contacts who knew how to handle shady business. Whispers spread that T was prepared to fight fire with fire, to track down the blackmailer and shut them down by any means necessary. But Tiny was terrified. Tip, this could get dangerous. What if they retaliate? What if they drag us deeper into something we can't control? T locked eyes with her, his voice steady but ice cold. They already dragged us in. I'm not about to sit here and watch my son's life get destroyed. I'll find out who's behind this, and when I do, it's over for them. The intensity of his words sent chills through the room. The family realized this wasn't just about damage control anymore. This was about war. Fans online could sense the shift. T posted another cryptic message, this time a black screen with the words, "Loyalty will be tested. Snakes in the grass always get cut." The internet erupted in speculation. Was he hinting at the blackmailer? Was he calling out his son's former friend who went live? Or was he pointing fingers at someone even closer? Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. Some claimed the blackmailer was an ex-employee with a grudge. Others whispered it was someone within the family itself, someone with inside access. As the whispers grew louder, the son broke his silence on social media. His post was raw, emotional, and filled with anger. "I don't care what y'all say. I know my truth. This is bigger than me. It's about people trying to break down my family. Y'all won't win." Fans flooded the comments with support, but others weren't convinced. One wrote, "Sounds like damage control to me." Another replied, "Nah, this kid is hurting." You can hear it in his words. But behind the brave front, the young man was breaking down. The weight of the scandal, the accusations, the betrayal from his so-called friends, it was all eating him alive. Late at night, Tiny found him sitting alone, his face buried in his hands. "I don't know how much longer I can do this, Mom," he whispered. "It feels like the whole world is against me." Tiny pulled him into a hug, tears streaming down her face. "Baby, you're not alone. We'll get through this. Somehow we'll get through this. Somehow we'll get through this." But deep down, even she wasn't sure. The family was fractured, the public was divided, and the blackmailer was still out there waiting to strike again. The storm was far from over. And the worst was yet to come. The days that followed were like living in the middle of a battlefield. Every phone call felt suspicious. Every knock on the door carried tension. And every notification on social media threatened to tear the family apart even more. The blackmailer's presence loomed over the Harris household like a shadow no one could escape. T had made up his mind. He wasn't just going to sit back and wait for the next threat. He started reaching out to old contacts, people from the streets who still owed him favors. Whispers spread quickly that he had put out feelers to track down whoever was behind the scheme. Tiny hated every second of it. One night, she confronted him in the kitchen, her voice shaking but fierce. "Tip, you're not a street kid anymore. You're a husband, a father, and a public figure. If you go digging around in the dirt, you're gonna drag this family down with you." T didn't flinch. "They came for my son. They came for my blood. I don't care what it takes. I'll find out who did this. I'm not about to let my boy get eaten alive." Their son overheard the conversation, his chest tightening with guilt. He didn't ask for this war, but somehow it was all centered around him. The betrayal from his former friend who went live still burned like a wound that wouldn't close. He wondered if maybe his dad was right, if there were snakes in the grass. And if they had been close all along? Then came another twist no one expected. A fan account leaked screenshots of private DMs that allegedly showed the son chatting with someone about making a tape for clout. The messages looked incriminating, and the internet erupted. So he really did it for attention. One fan wrote, "This family is cooked." Another added, "But there was a problem. The messages didn't add up." The language was off, the timestamps didn't make sense, and some claimed the screenshots were clearly doctored. Half the internet screamed fake, while the other half screamed proof. Inside the house, chaos exploded again. T shoved the phone across the table, his voice boiling. "Explain this. What the hell is this?" His son shook his head furiously. "It's fake. Look at it, Dad. You can see it's edited. People are out here making fake accounts just to bury me." Tiny studied the screenshots carefully. Tip, he's right. I've seen these kind of fake DMs before. People do this all the time to celebrities. Key wasn't convinced. Too many coincidences, too many lies. How many times do we gotta go through this? The tension snapped when the son shouted back, his voice breaking. "Why don't you believe me? I'm your son. Isn't that supposed to mean something?" The room went cold. Tiny buried her face in her hands, sobbing quietly while T stood motionless. His jaw clenched. Word of the fake DM spread fast, and fans took sides once again. Hashtags trended daily. Hashtag stand by him versus hashtag expose the truth. Radio hosts debated whether the son was the victim of a smear campaign or if he was secretly guilty all along. Late-night comedians mocked the situation mercilessly, adding fuel to the fire. But what really shattered the family was the next betrayal. Another close friend of the son's, someone he had grown up with, someone who had eaten at their dinner table countless times, came forward with a bombshell interview. "Look, I ain't trying to snitch," the friend said, his eyes darting nervously during the sit-down, "but I've seen some stuff. I've seen him wildin' out. He ain't innocent. Maybe the tape ain't what it looks like. Maybe it is. But y'all need to stop acting like he's perfect." The word spread like poison. Betrayal from one friend was bad enough, but two? Now the story didn't feel like just gossip, it felt like a conspiracy, a coordinated takedown of the Harris family. The son was crushed. Why are they doing this to me? People I loved, people I trusted, they're the ones destroying me. He cried late one night, slamming his fists into his mattress. Tiny held him close, whispering over and over, "Baby, they don't define you. We'll find the truth." But T, pacing nearby, was already thinking like a soldier. "This ain't coincidence," he muttered. "Two friends turning fake messages, leaking blackmail threats. It's all connected. Somebody's pulling the strings." The theory gained traction online. Fans started speculating about industry enemies, powerful figures who wanted to take down T through his son. Some claimed it was a rival rapper, others whispered about old grudges from T's past. The mystery deepened, and with it, the drama only grew. Things came to a boiling point when the blackmailer sent another message, this time with a terrifying warning. "Last chance. Pay up, or the whole world sees the truth." Attached was a short clip, clearer than anything before, showing a figure who looked almost exactly like the son. Tiny gasped when she saw it. "Oh my God." The son's voice cracked. "That's not me. It's not me. I swear on everything, it's not me." T stared at the screen, his face unreadable. "If it ain't you," he said slowly, "then somebody went through a lot of trouble to make it look like you." The implication was chilling. Could it be a deepfake? Fans began to speculate wildly, posting side-by-side comparisons of the son's real videos and the clip. Some argued the facial movements didn't line up. Others swore it was an exact match. The family spiraled deeper into paranoia. The son felt like no one in the world would ever believe him. T grew more determined to find the blackmailer, and Tiny begged them both to think about the younger kids, who were now being bullied at school because of the scandal. The pressure finally broke during a family meeting, when Tiny screamed through tears, "We're losing everything, our peace, our family, our trust. If we don't stick together, we're done." Her words echoed in the silence, heavy and raw. T looked around the room, seeing the fear etched on his children's faces. For the first time, he realized the scandal wasn't just about reputation anymore. It was tearing apart the people he loved most. Yet even in that moment of clarity, the war raged on. Outside the home, paparazzi followed their every move. Fans camped online waiting for the next twist. And somewhere in the shadows, the blackmailer was smiling, ready to drop the final blow. The family was hanging by a thread. And the truth, whatever it was about to come crashing down in a way none of them could escape. The house felt haunted in the days that followed. Whispers filled the halls, phones buzzed endlessly, and the weight of the blackmailer's threat pressed on every moment like a curse. The family barely ate together anymore. Meals ended in silence or in shouting. And every glance between father and son was filled with suspicion and unspoken pain. The deadline from the blackmailer loomed closer. The message had been clear: pay or the full tape goes public. Tiny pleaded with T late at night, her voice trembling. Tip, maybe we should just pay them. Maybe it'll make them go away. T shook his head, his eyes bloodshot from sleepless nights. It never ends with people like this. You pay once, you pay forever. I'd rather fight and lose than live on my knees. Their son sat in the corner, fists clenched, feeling like the world's weight was on his shoulders. It's my fault, he muttered. If I wasn't me, if I wasn't your son, this wouldn't even be happening. Tiny rushed to him, grabbing his face in her hands. Don't you ever say that? This isn't your fault. Someone's out there trying to destroy us, not you. We're victims here. But T, pacing like a lion in a cage, wasn't so sure. Victims don't get justice. Fighters do. As if the situation couldn't get any worse, the blackmailer delivered on their promise. One evening, just as the family tried to distract themselves with a quiet dinner, notifications began exploding across their phones. The full tape, or at least something that looked like it had been dropped online. Tiny gasped, covering her mouth. No, they really did it. Their son's face went pale. That's not me. He shouted, tears streaming down his face as he shoved the phone away. But the internet didn't wait for explanations. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Fans flooded timelines with shock, disgust, and endless commentary. I can't believe this is real, one fan wrote. Nah, I still don't buy it, another argued. Hashtags trended worldwide, and the family's name was dragged into every conversation. From gossip blogs to mainstream outlets, the humiliation was unbearable. Paparazzi swarmed their home, shouting questions from the sidewalk. Journalists camped outside, hungry for sound bites. Even family friends began distancing themselves publicly, releasing statements like, "We wish them the best during this difficult time." Inside, emotions boiled over. T stormed through the house, throwing open drawers, slamming doors, shouting at no one and everyone. They think they broke us. Nah, they just woke me up. I'm gonna find out who did this, and when I do, they're finished. Tiny sobbed in the kitchen, trying to shield the younger kids from the chaos. We can't live like this. Our babies don't deserve this pain, she whispered. Their son sat in his room, phone buzzing nonstop with hateful messages. You're a disgrace, one DM read. Another said, you ruined your dad's legacy. The words cut deep, and for the first time he wondered if maybe the world would never see him the same again, no matter the truth. But then came the twist that no one saw coming. A tech expert, one of the family's allies, came forward with an analysis of the tape. After examining the footage frame by frame, they revealed shocking evidence. The video had been manipulated. It was, in fact, a deepfake. The revelation hit the internet like lightning. Wait, this was fake the whole time? Fans screamed online. So somebody actually went through all that just to ruin him. The narrative shifted instantly, turning suspicion into sympathy. Suddenly, the son was seen as a victim of one of the cruelest smear campaigns ever. Inside the house, emotions erupted again, but this time with relief, mixed with rage. Tiny clung to her son, sobbing. See, baby? I told you it wasn't you. The son wept into her shoulder. Thank you for believing me. I thought I lost everything. But T didn't celebrate. He stood in the corner, fists clenched, fury burning in his eyes. Deepfake or not, somebody went through all this trouble to destroy us. That means somebody close had to be involved. This ain't over. Fans online turned their attention to the two friends who had betrayed the sun. So, y'all lead. One comment read on their pages: "Y'all threw him under the bus for clout." The backlash was brutal. The so-called friends disabled their accounts, unable to handle the wave of hate. But still, the question lingered. Who was behind the blackmail? Who had the resources to create a convincing deepfake and the nerve to extort a family as powerful as the Harrises? Theories exploded. Some fans insisted it was an industry rival, others pointed fingers at jealous former associates. One wild theory even suggested it was someone inside the family, a relative with a grudge. The mystery only deepened, keeping the scandal alive even as the narrative shifted in the son's favor. The pressure inside the house didn't vanish. T and Tiny still argued late into the night. "Tip, it's over," Tiny pleaded. "The truth is out. People know it was fake." T shook his head. "It ain't over until I find the snake. They came for us once, they'll come again. I can't let that happen." So the son begged him to let it go. "Dad, please. I just want to move on. I can't keep living like this." But T couldn't let go. His pride, his legacy, his family's name, they were all tied into this war. And deep down, he knew someone had tried to assassinate not just his son's character, but the very foundation of the Harris family. The internet, meanwhile, couldn't stop talking. Fans expressed sympathy, some apologizing for doubting the son. Others demanded T reveal the name of the blackmailer, pressuring the family to expose the truth. Every comment section was filled with questions, outrage, curiosity. And that was the final twist: the truth never came out. Despite T's determination, despite the family's suffering, the identity of the blackmailer remained hidden in the shadows. No arrests were made, no names revealed, no justice served. The family tried to pick up the pieces. Tiny focused on the younger kids, trying to restore a sense of normalcy. The son slowly returned to social media, posting photos of himself smiling again, though the pain behind his eyes was hard to miss. And T. He remained vigilant, posting cryptic messages about loyalty, snakes, and betrayal, keeping fans guessing about what he knew. In the end, the scandal left scars that would never fully heal. Trust was broken, friendships destroyed, and the family bond tested in ways no one could imagine. Fans were shocked, divided, and hungry for answers that never came. The Harris household might have survived the storm, but the shadows of the scandal would always linger. And as T himself once said in a cryptic post, "Storms don't destroy kings, they just reveal who the enemies are." The world was left wondering who those enemies truly were, and whether the truth would ever see the light of day. And there you have it. One of the wildest scandals to ever hit the Harris family. What started as a blurry clip and a few whispers spiraled into betrayal, blackmail, heartbreak, and even the shocking revelation of a deepfake. Fans are still stunned. Emotions are still running high. And the internet refuses to let this story rest. The question now is simple, but the answer is complicated. Who was behind it all? Was it just bitter friends chasing clout? Was it powerful enemies from the industry with resources to pull off something this cruel? Or was it someone even closer, hiding in plain sight? The truth may never be fully revealed. But one thing is clear: the Harris family will never be the same again. T single quotes as reaction showed the world just how far a father will go to protect his family, even when doubt crept into his own heart. Tiny's love and loyalty proved unshakable, holding the family together when everything else seemed to fall apart. And his son, he walked through fire, watched the world turn against him, and somehow came out standing, even if scarred. But now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think T handled this the right way? Or should he have taken a different approach? Do you believe the deepfake explanation? Or is there still more to the story than we've been told? And most importantly, who do you think was really behind the blackmail? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we want to hear from you. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this story as shocking as we did. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next unbelievable drama we bring to you. Trust EOR not gonna wanna miss what's coming next.